All right, guys, just want to talk today about dopamine. We're in an environment where we're often getting too much quick, short, useless entertainment. Um, your TikToks, uh, your TV shows, your stuff that keeps you busy. Because see, I get frustrated when the government keep me busy with forms and things because a lot of it is about preoccupation. It's not about efficiency. It's not about it's needed. You know, if you look at, say, taxing a car, it should be pretty much automated. My car itself doesn't actually need car tax because it's under the emissions or whatever, so it's zero tax. Yet I still get a letter and I still have to log in and I still have to process to say, yes, tax my car, please, although it doesn't need to be taxed. Um, you've got to realise, probably over the last 30 years, everything's become more accelerated. This is why we keep talking about well-being. We keep talking about people seem more depressed. People seem to have more stuff going on because A, you're becoming self-aware, and B, people keep telling you. You know, let's face it. You before you just have an off day, and now it's like, oh, maybe you're suffering with depression. I mean, my view is a lot of this is Americanisms. Because you stiff upper lip and just shake it off or go for a long walk. We're more the British mindset for a long time. Now it's more like, oh, maybe it's this, maybe, like, is it almost like people are looking to be ill. And then I will get reactions saying, no, I've got this and got that. You didn't have it 20, 30 years ago because it didn't exist. And don't get me wrong, I'm not criticizing the fact that you may or may not. I'm just saying the fact is a lot of this stuff was dealt with in a different way before. It's a bit like when people go, maybe you need counselling. Now, I'm qualified as a counsellor. One of the things I will say is counselling may set you on a journey and it may give you somebody to listen to. But as you probably noticed, the way I always emphasise things is everything's up to you, which is basically it. That's the golden nugget in all of this. Everything's about you. So you can go and have a whinge or get everything out in the open and have somebody rethink with you about whatever the problems are or what's going on in your life. But ultimately, you're the guy that's or girl that has to make the decisions on that and make those changes. See, the thing with the dopamine thing, getting back to where we are, they're linked. Because everything's quick gratification now, your excitement levels are dropping, your interest levels are dropping. You can get excitement very easily, very cheaply. I mean, if I go back to my childhood, people didn't stick things on credit cards. If they wanted something, they may get it in a thrift store and go and pay £1 a week or whatever on it. You know, a kid's wheelchair, pushchair. Like if your wife's pregnant or whatever, and you've got 6 months, you go and pay the pushchair off weekly. They ain't got a lot of money. That's how the credit system used to work. Now it's buy it, get in debt, maybe think, that's not the right one. I'll get another one. Oh look, I'm really not happy with the credit card debt because you've bought two pushchairs on it. Well, whatever you're buying with it. I just put pushchairs as an example. But we become A, wasteful, and B, because it's on the plastic, it's not it's not physical. The item's not valued because you didn't pay it off for weeks. You've got a debt that's long term, in the sense of it's on your credit card, but often you will not associate it with what you bought. I'll give you a good example. Can you tell me the last 10 items you bought on your credit card? And what do you think about the 10 items, or do you just think about the debt at the end of the month? They're not they're not related. They've been disconnected. This is why you may find that you struggle to go through. Everything seems level playing field because you go, I work to pay debts, and the association of your rewards is being watered down because it's tied with debt. Because you're going to add at least, I don't know, 50 to 150% on most things. Depends how you pay your credit cards, maybe even more, because you never pay your credit cards off. Something you bought 5 years ago for, I don't know, £10 may have cost you £50 by now. I don't know. But the point being is, a lot of this stuff is linked with debt. A lot of it is about quick fixes. You know, where people go, oh, mindfulness, karma, and the little bells ringing, and you're just going in your zone. Before, it used to be sitting on the bus, looking at the rain on the window, thinking, got 45 minutes to get to the school. I'm going to like be half asleep, half awake. I don't want to fall asleep because I don't want other kids laughing at me because your bus person has to wake you up, and you're in that state of thinking about nothing. You're half asleep, half awake. All the stuff you wanted in life was not so easy to access. Eating out and takeaways was a weekly treat, not daily. Access to communities has changed. You know, a lot of pubs have gone, and now you start to see even the night stuff, where people go out and get wasted on the weekends, is in decline. They would rather sit, they say people would rather sit and game. I'm not 100%, to be fair. I don't see, I like gaming, but would I rather be out with my friends or gaming? Out with my friends. I mean, bizarrely, tonight I'm actually out with my work colleagues. I'll call them friends. I will call them friends because we've stayed in touch all the way. We worked through COVID and stuff together, and yeah, that's a very rare thing for me to call people friends. But the fact is that we've got this big group meet up, and I'm looking forward to it. But the point being is, you're going through this environment where going to the pub is not a social thing. Pubs become restaurants. Everything's about tax, everything's about cost. Pubs become restaurants because drinking pubs they struggle to become a, what do you call it, to stay afloat. Unless you've got high volume. Well, if you've got high volume, you haven't got community. If you have a restaurant, you may go out with friends, but you don't hang around with your friends watching the football at the weekend or what other, events that used to be part of social clubs and things like that, where you had bigger communities that evolved. My view is those things are all part of your dopamine. They're your pickups. It's just like, I've had a crap week at work. I can't wait to get out in the club, have a couple of beers and play snooker, play pool, chat with the guys. Everyone sit and complain how shit the week is. um, it is one of those events where it's a venting event and a social event, and it gives you some highs. At the moment, your highs and lows are like that because access to it's easy and paying it off is difficult. So how do you beat it? Well, a lot of the dopamine stuff is simplistic. You may find that you cut some stuff out of your life and you'll start to see it improve. It was funny, I was talking to somebody yesterday about I've got to go for a walk in the park because it was my 10 o'clock alarm. And they actually said to me, that sounds boring. I've got to admit, walking in the park is not the greatest thing to do, but what I get is about 20 minutes to myself, walking around, seeing what the ducks are up to, meeting the odd dog that's walking around. Not on about some of the owners, just the actual, there's lots of people walking their dogs around there. And just switching off for 20 minutes. See, well-being coming down. Stress of the day coming down, doing something outside your routine. Then you get on to the next bit of like having a cold shower. That stimulates the brain. That has a massive effect on your dopamine if you have a cold shower. Look it up yourself. I'm not going to go into it in too much detail. So there's an instant one that will get your blood going and whatever in a positive way. Switching the TV off, doing other stuff is important. I've been doing it more this week. I've been busy with work, but I've got back to one of my college courses this week, and I've managed to finish an extra 4 hours on it. Um, why is that? It's because I switched the TV off. I was a bit frustrated with work and stuff this week, but at the same time, instead of sitting there moaning about it, proactively made a change, which is switch the TV off, go and do something else. Because you sit watching TV because you're annoyed, you're frustrated, you're putting yourself in the rut. Getting the qualifications gives you more job opportunities. This is where it starts getting into what lifts your spirits. What's your dopamine hit? One of mine is paying bits of the mortgage off. Sounds a bit boring, a bit dull, but charting it and whatever, loving it. Gives me something positive. Going home to Spain, definitely. That's what I say. I buy clothes when I go back to Spain because it's here's a new T-shirt, Ford Cortina. It's because that's being based for me. That's the fact to go home, see the wife, see the kids. Um, it's the smaller stuff. As you can see, these aren't small stimulants either. Paying a mortgage off is not a 5-minute job, but every month going, we've paid the mortgage and then some. So you're going, you've got, like, say, I don't know, 16 years left, and then suddenly it's like, you've just paid an extra 2 months off, and you're starting to see it. It sounds dull, it sounds boring, it sounds tedious, it sounds sad, but these small things have more value than a lot of the other stuff that you're dealing with, like sitting watching TikTok because you've got an assignment to write and it's boring. Because you're giving yourself a boring stimulus that has zero value compared to slogging through it. You've got to change what's affecting your negative dopamine, and you will get some. I mean, if you're one for adult entertainment, that's probably one of the worst. If you're one for alcohol, that's one of the worst. They are short term, they are not long term, they are not solution, they're normally escapism. I mean, when people talk about video games being escapism, I've got to admit, I don't think they are. Not for me, they're not. See, I play strategic games, so for me, it's sometimes a case of it gives me something else to think about. It's not like I'm avoiding what I'm doing during the day. It's more a case of it gives me something else to think about outside of work, because otherwise I'd either be talking and thinking about the family or working, and that's about it. Because I don't get much. I don't do football. I don't do most sports stuff, but I do like things like railway empires. So I'm sitting working out one of the. Where am I doing at the moment? Northern Europe. I'm in one of the last sections on that. And I've been doing that for about a year because I know if I sat and really focused on it, I'd sort it out in an hour or so. But I like the fact that I can mess it up, then start all again. I don't do the auto saves either. I literally will scrap it and start again. That's a choice thing, by the way. I just like doing that. But is that a big dopamine hit for me? Completing it will be. Going through the process of trying to get to that point, it gives me a bit of thought, like we think I need 5 minutes off work. Now, put that station to that one, blah, blah, blah. You're switching off for 10 minutes. And although it's still calculations and whatever, it's outside your realms of your day job. And that's the important bits. These are the things that matter. These are the things that can give you some positive hits that aren't distractions, because a lot of stuff we talk about is distractions. It's not about solutions. Like saying, if you're trying to do something, got bored or it's hard, and then decide to flick through TikTok, that's a distraction. You get a positive hit off it, a short-term hit, but it doesn't mean it's fixed your day. And the reason I bring it up is because most of the stuff we have today is keeping us on a very narrow window, because buying a new car is far easier now because you stick it on debt. Buying a car in cash after saving it for 2 years, that's a bigger piece on your dopamine, because you probably love that car, and probably the car you'll keep for this long. Still driving around in the Cortina you originally bought, because you earned it, you paid for it. And don't get me wrong, when you stick it on credit, whatever, you think it's a different feeling. It really is. The way I look at cars, funny enough, my wife sent a video to me yesterday, because we're looking at cars, and you probably know I talk about I need a car, but it's justifying the cost to myself. And she was on about there was a video somebody had done where a daughter was talking to the mother about the car. They could get a new car. And it says, this car's paid for. This car we will keep until it's no longer viable to fix. We'll keep this car till the engine blows up and it's at the side of the road, because this car is a paid car. That's me. And it's not because I'm tight or whatever. I sit in a car, and I just see it goes from A to B. Like the one in Spain. The DPF filter, the diesel filter's a pain in the backside. But once it's been on a run, it's smooth. The car's smooth, and you're thinking, I could keep this another couple of years. Because it's not breaking down, it's not failing, it's just a problem with the filter. It is a funny one, because you are sort of going, what if it's annoying me, because it starts clouds of smoke behind him, and then suddenly it's gone. The smoke's gone, it's blown it all out the exhaust system, and it's happy again. Bizarre, but yeah, that's, for me, the big dopamine will be no more mortgage. The other one will be once my investment fund has got to a point where I can see it growing at over 1,000 a month. That's my hit. Because that releases me to do everything else. And I say release because at the moment my freedoms are limited compared to what it was in the Philippines. Let's face it, living out in the Philippines, I worked for myself. I worked when I wanted to work. We got apartments there that pay the bills. We had internet peso machines, which are slot operated computers that paid for our internet bill. We had a sustainable income without me doing a day's work, because we built it up over time. Got the apartments, got the internet cafe, got the call center, built all these little units up of income, and it made us sustainable. But did it mean I sat on my backside and did nothing? Answer's no. I was always busy doing something. I'd either be meeting people, out on my motorbike, trying to think of new ideas. Here, it's more difficult. But it doesn't mean I sit on my backside. Because you've got to keep your motivation going. That's what I'm saying. This is the problem with the dopamine doing that, because part of your motivation is getting some excitement in your life, something that motivates you. If I go over what's good for me at the minute, I read these books in the far corner. You probably noticed all BIM, which is to do with the building information modelling. It's around the CAD systems. It's around developing building modelling systems for existing buildings, because a BIM's used predominantly in new builds, where predominantly I work in older buildings where that was never done. Matt, you're so boring, aren't you? No, I actually get interest out of this, because I do like 3D modelling. I get excited by this stuff because I come from electronics. So using LiDAR scanning, using AutoCAD and Revit, and making buildings way beyond what people work with now, because most of the stuff we do is pen and paper and simplistic, and you work with people that don't really understand Excel, to going from that to models and apps where you can You can stick a VR headset on and walk around a building. Far more interesting. But is the company driving that? Of course not. I am. I'm making it happen. Why do I make it happen? That's my dopamine. That's what's motivating me. Doing BIM modeling for a hobby is not a hobby. It's not because I'm going to think I'm going to build a building in a 3D system over the weekend for entertainment. I'm doing it because it enhances the work environment, but the stimulus is the fact is you're taking cave people, because you always go caveman. Well, people always go caveman. No, to hell with that. Cave people. You take from cave people to state of the art, current state of the art, without the support of anybody else. No one else does it in the business. I do all this stuff myself. It's a bit like I'm doing another trade. I don't know if I said already. I'm doing a health and safety course at the minute, alongside my master's degree, which I need to get the health and safety. I'm going to do another. I'm going to go for a walk in the park, come back, do some work, then do another module on my health and safety. See, as you can see, you probably think, well, that's you just keeping busy. No. See, the health and safety piece is part of my bigger picture piece on about moving my career up. So it's another star. It's another thing that's sitting on my resume. Now, here's a little tip on looking for jobs. When you're in my industry, a lot of the opportunities that will help you get through a door that may be closed is taking the responsibilities of the person who's hiring you. So, for example, I do CDM, which is a construction design and management piece. I manage that stuff. I manage the health and safety stuff. I manage the asset management stuff. I manage the compliance stuff, commercial. I can fit more than one hat. As such, somebody at a higher level is often somebody who's just, I mean, not like just as in 5 minutes ago, but just got a master's degree. In other words, that's the only paper they've got. So they may not be commercially savvy. They certainly won't be technical to the same level. But the fact is, you can fill the gaps in, and that, if you've got the right positive mentality, etc., you can click. And if you click, even somebody who's better than you could drop into the role easier. Like I said, I lost out recently because I haven't got my master's degree, and it's only like, I've got nearly halfway through. I mean, there's only 4 sections to it. I've completed one and passed that. I've got a second section that I'm doing at the moment. But it's a bank holiday weekend. Guess what? I'm going to finish this weekend, and it's not due for another couple of months. I want to finish that and on to the next. Finish it, on to the next. I want to try and get this finished and done, because the master's degree, I see, is not a waste of time. I'd say it's too simplistic for me. It's a bit like, there's a course out there called Managing for Non-Managers and Finance for Non-Accountants and stuff. What they really mean is people are too stupid to use common sense, because a lot of this stuff is common sense and easy to understand. And one of the good things I've got very good retention, so I can read things once and remember it. So going straight through the health and safety one, I'll probably get the health and safety done this weekend as well. Why? Because I can retain the information quite quickly. Anyway, it's not about me. The reality is, you've got to think of what stimulates you. The health stuff is stimulating me. I get on the scales every day. Every morning I get on the scales. I'm not going to get on it today because I did it yesterday. But I think, I've dropped some more weight this today as well, but hopefully next week you should see quite a good drop, because we started, it's been 2 weeks, it was at 23.5. I'm already at 20.5, and it's under the 20s now. So, but bear in mind, it's the bank holiday weekend coming up and I'm going out tonight, so got to behave. But yeah, dopamine. Realize how things are in your life, because in all honesty, it is understanding where your stimulations are coming from, because unlocking it, you get more control. So here's a good example. I just thought about it from last night. Right, so I got back to here about 9 o'clock last night from London, um, and the first thing I did, messaged the wife, spoke to the wife, relaxed for 20 minutes, and then I did my boxing workout, which was an hour of boxing stimulants. Come out sweating, knackered. I then weigh in this morning to see it had a positive effect. What's the positive? The weigh-in, not doing the boxing. The motivation to do it the weigh-in. The discipline was, even though I was tired, I still got up and did it. These are the things, and they're all tied together, because your dopamine comes from you're losing the weight. Well done. That's another achievement. But also recognizing, oh, I'm not losing weight. Why am I not losing weight? Because you're not putting the effort in. You're not going to get a dopamine hit if you're not putting the positive bit in, the hard bit in. It's all linked. Everything's linked. Like I said, alcohol's not a solution. Gambling's not a solution. Excessive gaming's not a solution. Ignoring your problems is not a solution. Ignoring that your life's just on a trail is not a solution. You just got to find your way out. And I can't do it for you. I can only help you on the journey. But hopefully this triggers some conversations. Thanks for watching.